Okay, as in go? Sorry, 1 second.
Forktales, a podcast that feeds the food and beverage world.
Oh, awesome. Forktales is brought to you by Vigor, a branding and marketing agency for passion-driven, innovative restaurant, beverage, and hospitality brands. Learn more at vigorbranding.com. If you love what we're serving up, please give Forktales a 5-star review on your podcast service of choice. Think of it as a tip for good service.
Hey everyone, today I am joined by Ayman, Kamel. I said it wrong again. You can make fun of me. It's fine. Anyway, I'm really excited to talk to Ayman because I came across 5Church, the brand that he leads in Charleston at first, but he has opened 5Church in Atlanta, and there's some awesome similarities, but I think something so much better going on here in Atlanta. Maybe I'm biased because I'm in Atlanta, but I'm really excited to speak to Ayman today. There's a lot to talk about. So Ayman, say hello, give a little bit of background.
Hello, everyone. Ayman Kamel here. I'm owner, operator of 5Church restaurant. And I agree with you. I'm biased to Atlanta too. 5Church Atlanta is one of the most amazing restaurants. It's not because it's mine, but our amazing clients state that. We opened 5Church Atlanta back in 2016, to be exact, on June 24th. So this is a very exciting time for us. We're coming up to our 50-year anniversary. I couldn't be happier that I'm a part of Atlanta town now, and I'm originally from New York. I moved to Atlanta a little bit over 5 years ago, and I can't tell you how much I love Atlanta, and we decided, me and my family, we live here for good. So it's nice to meet you guys.
That's amazing. Yeah, similar to my story. My wife and I, we met down here, but she's from New York, or lived in New York for a while as well. But we love it here. We threw down roots, bought a house. We're in it to win it, as it is. So one of the things I love about 5Church, when I first encountered it, it's just a very remarkable experience. There's some features of the interiors that I loved, but I think one of the things that struck me was there's a fantastic bartender in Charleston who really exemplifies fantastic bar keeping, engagement with the guests, the ability to turn out just really, really good cocktails without breaking eye contact. And I think that just gave me a great impression about 5Church. I could see why you wanted to grow it and create more locations. So one of the features of 5Church on the interior, though, and this is like true to my heart, I loved it. I looked up at the ceiling and I'm like, there's white letters all over this dark ceiling. And I'm like, what is this written? Like, is it, Lord of the Rings or a Bible quote or something? And it turns out it's Art of War. And so I wanted to know, did you have a hand in that? And how did that manifest?
Yes, I did. And it's a funny story behind it. Our first restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina, we did not have much budget to work with. And the ceiling did not look great, and we did not have enough money to build a fancy drop-down ceiling. So the ceiling was painted black, and we were a little worried about, what is the proper thing to do for that ceiling, and we didn't want it to look like a nightclub, or didn't want the room to look damp. So one of us suggested maybe we should write a book. What kind of book? One of us suggested the Bible. One of us suggested some other books, and we came up with the idea of what if we can write the Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's a very inspiring book. I read it like 3 times, and every time I read it, I learn something new. I mean, this book was written over 2,000 years ago, and they're still teaching this book in so many academies and so many colleges. And we said, let's try. And we brought an artist, an amazing artist from Charlotte, North Carolina. His name is John Norris. And
Mhm.
we said, let's try a little piece on the ceiling and we see what it would look like. And he came and he wrote it, and he's a very talented artist, and it came out to be amazing. And we said, wow. Uh, Mind you, we opened the restaurant and he was actually on his back writing the book while we're open for business, and people were so fascinated eating, and while he's on his back, it was like, a piece of art. People were talking about it, taking selfies with it, so it became a solid part of our ambiance. And we did it in the two other restaurants in Charleston and in Atlanta. In Charlotte, it took him about 6 months to be done. In Charleston, it took him about 3.5 months, and in Atlanta, it took him about little less than 3 months. And the last one, it was amazing. He was working overnight, and his wife was helping him, so she was actually reading the book while he's on his back, writing it. So it was really a great experience.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think so often when it comes to interior design experiences, there's a lot of attention paid, of course, to lighting, but the focus is really what's around you, in front of your face, what you're sitting on, what you're engaging with, and a lot of times the roof, the ceiling is forgotten. Like you said, you do drop ceilings just so you can absorb some sound, get some good lighting in there, but the rest is like, what is the guest going to be engaging with? But I found. In Atlanta and Charleston, where I had been, I just end up staring, even though I've read The Art of War by Sun Tzu and by Machiavelli, which I don't know if you know that there's
Yes.
that one too. And it's just an amazing thing. It's a good talking piece, and it's a surprise moment. We talk a lot about that at Vigor. These remarkable moments. They don't have to be, $100,000 sculpture. They can be something as simple as writing on the ceiling that just grabs the attention, makes it worth looking at. So I loved that. Um, you mentioned 5 years. So that is a big number. So statistically speaking, a lot of people know that many restaurants fail before even year one. And even more don't even make it to year five. So this is a milestone. Tell me, how did you get here? How did you make it happen?
That's a great question. I don't know. But one thing I can tell you, every day I think about it. And this year is a very exciting year for us. And it is. 5 years is a huge deal for us at 5 Church Atlanta. But I can tell you, by all means, what made this restaurant successful, I will give that to our staff. We have an amazing staff. Atlanta has one of the most amazing people, hard workers, and they take pride of what they do. And we will also give that credit to our amazing clients. But to start with,
Mhm.
are the amazing staff. Uh, One thing though we so care about is the consistency in our service. There are some solid training systems. We don't like I read every review that goes online. It's a part of our day. I wake up in the morning, I read my
Mhm.
reports, and I look at every review. And there are certain specific reviews I reply to it myself, because every guest counts, and every client that comes in here, we so depend on the fact that on their way out of the restaurant after having a great experience, I am coming back to 5 Church to hang out again. And we, our success has been tremendous. And I will tell you something very like I care about it myself is the last year has everybody been through like the year of COVID 2020, and it was harsh on everybody. And I was like, does the year 2020 count as a part of the 5 years? And I will tell you, by all means, it counts. It's the hardest and toughest year of the all the 5 years that 5 Church Atlanta been through, and I'm sure a lot other restaurants. So to go back to your question, consistency, our amazing staff, and our amazing clients. I'm so grateful to all of these. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you've, like you said, you've made it to 5 years, and one of those years is probably the most crippling and destructive years for restaurants, and to maintain staff during that, get people to come back, which is a huge topic of conversation right now. It's a big issue for restaurants. These are all great accolades on top of hitting 5 years. Um, I think one thing that I notice, I can tell that you're reading the reviews and actually using them to help uplift the staff. But there's some good things that happen with a year like 2020. So a lot of people talk about the bad stuff, but let's try to put a little bit of glean on there. When humans go through something tough together, they come out stronger on the other side. It's a byproduct. We have weathered a storm. We have battled, an invader. Quite literally, with COVID. And on the other side of that is a stronger team bond. Is that something you're experiencing right now? And do you think that'll lead to being able to attract talent and continue to grow 5Church?
Absolutely. And I will tell you, during the tough time, we sit and gather together and we wonder, and how are we going to handle this? And I can tell you by all means, the team here at 5Church, every time we conduct a pre-shift before a night that we do not know that it's going to be busy or not, we talk about it, and we talk about how important it is to remind our guests that we're here for you and we're going to do whatever it takes to make your experience a great experience, a great 5Church experience. And I have to tell you, it's very touching. We lost some staff, of course. Some people decided to relocate. Some people decided to, approach another career. But we do have some people who are here from day one. And these people stood with us and they went through all these tough times, and it got us closer to each other. And we sit down, like if you walk into 5Church, the downstairs bar, there's a big writing from the Art of War says, there is only we. We live by that. And so it's not we go and say, oh, it's a punchline in a book and we just want to impress our clients with the writing. It is actually, we will always talk how there's only we can enable us to handle any problems. And our staff firmly believe in it. And I love them for that. Like we all sit together and how can we help each other? And I can tell you, by all means, we have right now about 60 something people working at 5Church. I'm very aware of each and every single one of them. I know who's married, who's just moved to Atlanta, who's studying, who goes to college. That really enriches my day with things I think about. And I go and say, that means something to me to know what is it you're doing outside, because when you're okay outside, you come back, you come to the restaurant, and your problems hopefully are taken care of, and it will make you will pay attention, you will pay more attention to the guest, and it seems to work. It seems to work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's one of the components of strengthening staff. And I actually hate the word staff. It's more, team is
Team.
also a little bit trite, but I think one of the reasons why we're seeing the people coming back to work being more difficult, and finding people to come to work difficult. There are, of course, anecdotally speaking, and I think quite factually, people are making money off of unemployment. And what I've heard from a few leaders is that not that they're just making money off of unemployment, but it's stable. And for a lot of the states right now in the U.S., there is still a looming threat of shutdown. And we don't have that, I don't think, in Georgia. I think we're pretty we're pretty compromised when it comes to left versus right-leaning thinking. But I think that stability is a big one, and that stability starts with a strong leader. And from everything you're saying, it seems like you do have that, because you actually have a genuine care for people, and that comes through.
Well, thank you. And we definitely live by it. And we do emphasize on how important each and every single position in the company is, from the dishwasher to the marketing to sales to back of the house. We all know each other. I remember last holiday season, and COVID was still a big thing. We did have our Christmas party, believe it or not, and we did enforce some social distancing. We had a DJ, but we had like a virtual cocktail club upstairs. It's a large space. So at the time, we're like maybe 40, 45 people, but the place fits about 200 people. So we were okay with the space, and we're having a great time having our masks. It's an amazing thing, but it made us bond, and we always care about that bonding. And anytime we have a new staff member joins the team, we uh, we make sure this person is so welcome. We make sure that we sit down and talk with them and make sure that they're a part of the team from day one. I think that makes our retention. We went through, of course, a lot of challenges through the year 2020, uh, but right now I'm so comfortable. I'm so happy with the team that we have, and I'm so looking forward a very successful 2021.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we all we're all rooting for it.
Yes.
So one of the things with Five Church is has a really strong bar scene, of course, not scene, but like program. Um, and it also has a really good food program, which we'll get to in a minute. But in Atlanta, you've expanded the Five Church experience to, let me know if I got this right, but a cocktail club at a rooftop oasis. How does this additional element come to pass? Was the inspiration, the vision, and is this something that you plan to replicate as you grow Five Church?
Yes. So all along we had a rooftop, and in the beginning, of course, our rooftop was totally exposed, and we are a big destination for corporate events. That's pre-COVID. Corporate events, private events. The view here is just breathtaking. And I wanted to be able to use this rooftop all year long, especially during the holiday season. Also, I wanted, like we used to call it the rooftop, uh, and I wanted to give it its own identity. And anybody associates a rooftop with party, cocktails, views, not necessarily uh, the food, the great food that we
Mm.
offer here at Five Church in the first floor in the main dining room. So I wanted to do a little separation. It is a part of Five Church. It is a part of Five Church experience. But I did not. I wanted Five Church dining experience not to be touched, and I want it to be.
Mm.
You're coming here. You want to have a steak. It's going to be the greatest steak. It's not because you're coming here, not because you're coming to party at the rooftop. We have all the elements that provides an amazing experience at the end to our guests. Come here, have a great dinner in the dining room by chef, the most amazing ingredients. And then, if you're in the mood for some fun and some great views, we will take you to virtual upstairs, and we have different cocktails, different set of cocktails, different uniforms. It's a totally different atmosphere. Uh, Funny thing, I will tell you a story. I did the build out during COVID. So I decided to
Mm.
invest some money in enclosing the rooftop. And I wanted to buy some great furniture, add amazing art like the piece behind me. I wanted to create a totally different ambiance from Five Church main dining room. And people are telling me, you're crazy. You're going to spend some money during COVID? I'm like, this is the time of opportunity. Our guests and the amazing
Absolutely.
people of Atlanta will always remember the experience. And when things get better, they will come back. And I have to tell you, we see an increase in business, and we see a lot of excitement. We still do enforce the rules of social distancing, masks when you're moving, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're going anywhere in the restaurant. uh, always sanitizing stations all over the place. Our staff still using masks and gloves. But we do want to remind our guests that the fun atmosphere it's even better at 5Church.
That's great. So it's called virtual,
It's called
like the cocktail club upstairs.
Virtual Cocktail Club, and
Awesome. So is that something that you plan to grow over time as well?
I would
Will
love
there
to.
always be a bifurcated experience?
I would love to.
Yeah,
If the next restaurant and the next restaurant, if there is an amazing rooftop, I would definitely go for it. Uh, I guess it depends on the location, but it's definitely we're getting some amazing
sure.
feedback from our guests.
That's great. So we have a really big focus on a cocktail forward experience upstairs, of course, on the rooftop. And 5Church has a fantastic cocktail program on in the core experience. But there is the food, and the food is fantastic. At the one I was in Charleston, I was impressed. But you have a great chef here in Atlanta, Chef Mark Alba. I actually got a chance to work with Mark years ago on another concept, which is how we met, and he has some absolute gems and some fantastic ideas with food. So tell me, what attracted you to Mark, and how has Mark uplifted the 5Church experience?
Well, Mark is one of the most talented, amazing chefs I've worked with, and I work with so many. He's quiet. He pays attention to details. He's extremely talented in choosing ingredients and making some great food. Uh, we're having Mark here becoming a partner and a partner for other restaurants that we're opening here. He's just like this guy is a keeper. We got to keep this man, and we got to keep
Mhm.
him making some great food. Uh, and funny thing that the last couple of weeks we've been tasting some new menu items for spring and for the summer as well. And it's the fun part of the day is when he comes and he tells me, "Come on, I got something for you," and some new tasting or a couple new items. Try this, and our menu is a very diverse menu. It's a new American menu, which we put from all over the globe some items. You see the Mexican, you see the Italian, you see the Asian, you see the American, the French. So and Mark loves that. Mark thinks that it's a fun thing to do is to use his best skills from all over the world to make an amazing menu for our guests to look at or to taste. Uh, so Mark definitely is a great addition to the team, and we look forward to work with Mark in the next. And I want to see what he's coming up with for other restaurants too.
Yeah, it's exciting when a chef has full reign to explore the flavors of our world. I get a little bit miffed when people talk about cultural appropriation with regard to food, because I'm like, no, 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 we're supposed to appropriate. That's America. America is appropriating all the beauty of all these flavors of all these cultures and creating something truly American. And so it sounds like that's what's happening at 5Church, and that is, I can't wait to actually go experience it again. Um,
Please do.
so
Please do.
yeah, oh, absolutely. I might see you this weekend. We'll see.
Excellent.
So full service restaurants and bars, I mean, they were absolutely, hit really hard by the pandemic. And I think there's a lot of learnings, and there's the people that were strong enough to survive, or even in some cases, reinvest, double down because they know that this is temporary. In your opinion, what does the future for full service restaurants and bars look like? And we'll say specifically, I don't want to say fine dining, but elevated dining, not casual dining, full service restaurants. What do you think our future looks like?
I think it's coming back, and it's coming back strong. And quite frankly, people are tired of staying home. They're tired of a stressful year, and they want to come out and they want to They want their lives back. So this is great news for the restaurant business and the bar business. I remember almost a year ago that I have to tell you, at a given time, I thought that I know everything and anything about the restaurant business. Uh, but 2020 proved to add to something that I did not uh, expect, and I was learning as I go. Like, you come tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen, uh, and especially, and I'm so grateful to be a part of the community in a town like Atlanta, like where I came from in New York. It was much tougher on the restaurant business. Here, they were a little bit at ease, I would say. Mind you, without sharing political views, there were a little messy situation between politicians. And I remember about a year ago, I came out and I said, I would like to invite the mayor and the governor to come here, have lunch on me, and resolve their differences. They didn't do it. But we were really, this is how I felt that they should do. And so many people supported me with that. And I hope that's how they would behave for the good of the people moving forward. I do think there will be some major new ideas coming out, when it comes to the restaurant business. There's so many talented people out there, and it all happened because of the support and the great support of the great people of a town like Atlanta. But in general, restaurant business will have a comeback. Bar business will have a comeback, and I would say a year from now, we're going to sit down and high fiving and saying, "Wow, look what happened and where we're at right now."
That's right. I love that positivity. I'm with you 100%. I think we're even starting to get there. I feel for the people of New York, the restaurateurs. Um, we're recording this right now in May, and so recently I spoke with a group of restaurateurs, up and coming, visionary, through DoorDash's Main Street Strong program. So I did a couple of webinars and then spent some time with these people, and they're you could tell they're hurting, but you can also tell they're excited and exhilarated for what's coming next. And I think that is truly the heartbeat of this industry. That is what makes this industry, I would argue, more unique than any other industry out there. We are in the crunch. We know how to operate under pressure. And so something like the pandemic, although can be crippling, it can knock us down, it sure as hell won't keep us down. And and in fact, I think that's the Atlanta spirit too. A town, keep it down. But like the whole idea is, hey, we're never going to stop. You can't hold us back. And I think you have adopted or helped add to that attitude of this great city. And I'm sorry for people who are in Atlanta. We're definitely gushing over our own town right now, but I think the industry as a whole, the restaurant industry, that is the mentality, that is the vibe, and that's what's beautiful. For you, let's just play out a scenario where you had to choose a final meal and a final cocktail to have at 5Church, and it would be your last. What is it? What is Mark cooking for you, and what are you getting from that bar?
That is a tough question.
But a good
I
one.
love every item on the menu and every cocktail, but I can't have all of them. Otherwise, I'll get drunk.
Yeah.
But
I didn't say why it was your last one, so maybe drunk's fine.
uh, the last meal, I would say, um, wow, that's a tough question. Well, from the menu that we have right now,
I knew that
or
was coming. It could be any historic menu. So it
any
could be like the menu you
historic.
have today or anything from before. Yeah.
Well, I'm a meat lover. As I mentioned before, the steak, when we make a steak, we make a great steak. And the 60-second steak, it's a prime steak, prime sirloin. Uh, it is probably, Mark seasons it like there is no tomorrow. The seasoning on that steak, it's like butter. You enjoy that. So I will have that as my last meal. Also, a cocktail, I would say our top sold cocktail is the holy water. And we call it holy water inspired by the art of war and 5Church. Uh, so I will have those, and I will also. Please don't forget about desserts. I need, if it's my last meal, I need some dessert. So we have a
Maybe
chocolate,
two.
maybe two exactly. No worries about
Maybe two.
calories.
Maybe two.
Uh, we have a cake. We have a dessert called Death by Chocolate by Chef Mecca, our pastry chef. It is just out of the world, and it's huge. So even if you can't finish the whole thing, you gotta you gotta take some to heaven. I guess I'm going to heaven if it's my last meal. So
Yeah.
I will take a piece. So in case I'm gonna get hungry up there, uh, but I think those three will probably make me very satisfied uh, on my way out.
I love it. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, and also your wisdom and your energy. Again, for those who haven't been to Atlanta, I got to say, like, this is the energy. We are in it together, and we're always on the up, and you can't hold us back. And I'm glad to see that you've not just weathered the storm, but you're coming out swinging. And that has to do something with the art of war and what you learned from that book. And yeah, just thank you for taking the time, Ayman. And I look forward to seeing you in person and hopefully talking again soon.
Yes, please. I would love to meet you, and thank you for having me. It's been an honor and a great experience. And I would love to see you at 5Church. So maybe we can make you that steak or any item on the menu. And we have a lot more cocktails for you. So please make sure you stop by.
Oh yeah, you did a good job. I'm hungry for that steak now. All right, we'll talk real soon.
If you love what we served up, please follow us at Vigor Branding on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Medium. Forktales is produced by the team at Vigor. Audio and video post-productions provided by Zencaster. Music performed by Jet Trash and licensed through musicbed.com. Joseph handles his own hair, makeup, and stunts. Copyright 2003 to 2021, Vigor Graphic Design LLC, all rights reserved.